What you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
When you talk about barbecue in North Carolina, most people, not all, think about whole hog barbecue, cooked over real wood, mopped in vinegar, and served with a touch of sauce and coleslaw. Now, there's a dwindling number of barbecue people producing that kind of traditional Carolina whole hog barbecue, most of them in the eastern part of the state and some parts of South Carolina. But none of those people are producing it quite like Kevin Peterson and his husband and wife team, Showtime's Legit Barbecue. Kevin's a 3-time whole hog state champion for the NC Pork Council. That includes his most recent win in May, and that competition team has collected multiple Carolina Barbecue League titles. They've made 3 straight state cook-off world championship appearances, and Kevin's even won Pitmaster of the Year honors. And for all those reasons, and probably a few more you'll find as we talk, we're excited to have Kevin Peterson from Showtime's Legit Barbecue join the Low and Slow Barbecue Show. Welcome to the podcast, Kevin.
Hey, thanks for having us on.
Yeah, so excited to talk to you and all your pet friends in the audience. Before I get too deep into this thing, Kevin, I got to ask you, you're in a husband and wife competition barbecue team. How do you guys pull that off?
Well, my wife is actually the one that originally pushed me to do this in 2016. We started off at, she graduated from NC State. So they used to have a fundraiser for the KL Foundation. So she was actually the push of this whole deal for us to get started. And she cooked with me for a right good many years. And then she decided she wanted to do it on her own. So now we cook together and against one another.
Wow. And yet you still live under the same roof harmoniously?
Yeah, it ain't too bad. We might have a cook disagreement every once in a while, but we don't bring it home. We don't argue about it. There ain't no need for all that.
That's good to hear. And I can't wait to talk to you a little bit more about some of your state championship process, your competition barbecue teamwork, and your barbecue backstory. And of course, that story may resonate with some of the other pitmasters we've had on the show. And you can hear all their interviews at our website, lowslowbbqshow.com. You'll find the blog at lowslowbbqshow.com. And don't forget to sign up for the newsletter. You'll get the latest roundup of Carolina barbecue news, food truck stops, and events every Tuesday morning in your email inbox. Of course, among those events here soon is the 3rd annual Chef Rival Flamin' Flavor event. That's June 17th at Rocky Mount Mills. You can get tickets at ripeforrevival.com. And when you do, you can see today's guest competing against some other big names in North Carolina barbecue. That's right, Kevin Peterson, Showtime's Legit Barbecue, is going to be all part of that Flamin' Flavor event there for Ripe for Revival. And kind of with that in mind, Kevin, I want to start talking about your competition process. What does it take to be a North Carolina state champion of whole hog barbecue?
So we cook the right pigs at the right time. A lot of practice makes perfect. So we like to think anyway. We've cooked hundreds of these events, but the first state championship, we have pretty much just started the year before, and we only cooked maybe 5 events in 2016. In 17, we cooked a pretty full 25 and win the state championship that year. And like I say, we just chose to cook the right pig at the right time.
Well, take us a little bit through your process from start to finish. Do you pick the pig and how do you cook? How does that work? Just walk us through everything there with your whole hog cook.
So, with a paid entry fee, sometimes it's sponsored. The event, they provide us a pig, so it's kind of look at a draw. Some pigs are better than others, so to speak. I mean, they're all good pigs. And at the end of the day, the barbecue goes for a charitable part of the event, so that's the big part that we're there for. We're limited in the Pork Council what we can and cannot use, and that's because, and I get asked all the time, what season do you use? I mean, we have a select, few seasons that we do like to use, but we cannot use injections or seasoning, and it's because the barbecue's all mixed together and sold as a bulk. So, I mean, you can imagine mess you would have if 20 teams had injected whatever and rubbed whatever. So we can use oil, salt, skin, baking soda, or powder on the skin itself.
Yeah, so you get it prepared, you put it on the smoker. How long are you usually cooking it, and what kind of wood are you using, or what's the fuel for your fire?
So I usually work on a 10-hour timeline, and it's what works. It's tried and true. It's clean fire. You don't want a bunch of dirty smoke because you want good color, and it does, have a really good taste. So we do use lump and briquettes, and the burn time is a long process for us. And I generally cook 120-pound pig on 40-ish pounds of Jill's Devil lump, and that's impressive to me.
Yeah, that's a little bit goes a long way.
Yeah, a little bit goes a long way. So the actual 3 NCPC state championships, 17, 19, and 25, I actually own a stainless steel BBQ grill, and it's a gas cooker. I won them 3 on that stainless grill.
Okay, when you're cooking there with the stainless grill on the gas or with the charcoal, obviously the hog is thicker in different areas than it is the other. How do you make sure that some parts don't get done too fast and the other parts of it dry out on you?
So with the stainless grill, I started off low, meat down, skin up, and run it low, for 2 to 3 hours, depending on the size of the pig. And little pigs will fool you, and a lot of people don't understand that. The little pigs, we call them, they got baby fat on them. And then at the end of the cook, you see a lot of the cooks out there, they're struggling. Like, my skin ain't crisp, and those little pigs, you still got to be hard on them because at the end of the process to get your skin crisp, because they don't cover as many square inches of the cooking surface as, say, a 150-pound pig. If you got a 75, 80-pound pig, they don't cover the square inches of the cooking surface. So you still got to go ahead and at the end, 350 degrees or more sometimes to get the skin right. Not so much on coals. On coals, I try to keep it deflected from the center to the outer parts of the hams and the shoulders. So you don't cook the center so hard, and then I start moving them in towards, the middle part or the end of the cooking process.
Okay,
which
that's
a lot
great.
of times on coals is 2 different temperatures, so you kind of got to know what you're cooking on that day, whether you're cooking on gas or charcoal. 300 degrees is not 300 degrees. Actually, cooking on gas is a more humid heat. So a lot of the times when I'm cooking on coals, we start 225, 250 at the beginning, and the highest I may go is 325 to set my skin.
Yeah, that's a lot of great information there. Advice for folks that might want to do it. Maybe, are there any tips that you might offer a home smoker that they want to keep in mind when they're trying to cook a whole hog at home?
If you want crispy skin, I use a good brand oil with a higher flash point, so that'll keep. I like rapeseed oil. I ain't even gonna lie. I've been through it all. Vegetable oil, peanut oil. I've used it all. I have used avocado oil for years. Grapeseed now it's a little more expensive, but it works. And I know Sam Jones and Michael Letchworth, and we've had this conversation. Sam says, "You overthink it, son. Use plain salt." I use kosher salt. Sometimes if I have nothing, I use plain salt. Salt, but just a good coat of salt. And I like just a little bit of powder, baking powder with the skin, and that really helps it come around to be good.
All right. So, you're producing these hogs a lot of times for competition, but I feel like you guys are serving out to the general masses too. How is your competition product different from what you might serve out of the food truck just on an average visit?
So what we serve to the public is pretty much cooked in the same process. I try to stay in routine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really change a whole lot. I don't defer. At the end when it's chopped, chopped barbecue takes smoke better than not chopped barbecue or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
however you want to say it. But we don't really go back and second smoke it. When it's cooked, we season it, whatever. I got a little secret vinegar sauce that my wife's the only one that knows the recipe, and maybe that dog running around here, but nobody knows my sauce recipe but us. And that's pretty much what we serve to the general public, just as much as what you could eat at a competition.
Let me ask you, is there any tomato in that secret sauce?
Just a little bit. It ain't much.
Those are dangerous words for some folks nowadays. So, let me ask you, let's talk a little bit more about Showtime's Legit. And you mentioned your wife's involvement and kind of how she got you started, but walk us through how you started your barbecue and tell us a little bit more about what your team is.
So the actual name Showtime was a nickname from a younger part of my life, I guess, just given to by a friend. I actually worked with him.
Mm-hmm.
And the legit barbecue part come in, we have season tickets to NC State football games. And a Florida State fan walked by, and we had the pig cooker there that day, and we were cooking some butts and sides on the pig cooker. And this girl says, "Now that's a legit grill." So the first competition we cooked in, we were trying to figure out what a good competition. So we were like, well, Showtime's Legit Barbecue, and it just kind of stuck from there.
Yeah, I like that. Now, where are you guys based? Where can people find you?
We're in Benson, North Carolina. We do own a catering company. We do not own a brick and mortar.
Uh-huh.
There's a food truck we have the trailer, just in the process of getting it up and going.
Well, tell us a little bit about the catering experience. What can folks expect when they call up Showtime's Legit and get you to come out and cater an event?
So we're personable. Everything's cooked fresh. We don't do food service meats. I mean, we're still hands-on pit cooked meats. We don't just do barbecue. I mean, I pick about it. I say, if you want fried shrimp all the way to a pan of baked spaghetti, we can handle that too. But we do pork barbecue, brisket, pretty much anything. I don't fry chicken. I don't get into fried chicken. I'll do grilled chicken. I don't like fried chicken. We're more of a southern comfort food cooks. That's what we. Once in a while, we'll get out of our element. Whatever the situation arises. And if I tell you I don't want to do it, we'll just say, look, we don't feel comfortable doing that. But as far as a catering business, more times than many, we can handle just about anything, any number.
Well, you hinted a little bit about the trailer. What's on the horizon for Showtime's Legit Barbecue? What's coming up?
We got some comps across the state coming up. We just come back from Florida cooking the SCA event. In the next few weeks, I think it's about 4 weeks, we'll go back to Folkestone, Georgia, and cook SCA again. We'll do steaks, wings, and ribs. We just kind of this coming weekend, next weekend, whatever the date of that is, June 5th and 6th, something like that. We teach a class at NC State barbecue camp. We actually do 2 pigs there. We do a charcoal pig, gas pig side by side. There's about 60 people that register for this camp, and they learn anything from making sausage to watching sides be made to us cooking a whole pig. They make their own seasoned ribs. They actually put them on like a Southern Pride smoker, and they cook the ribs until they're done. They bring them out, and then the camp guys and girls that register for the camp eat the ribs and vote which ones they like the best, and send it. They can any recipe, any seasoning in the world that you can think of, they have the ingredients there.
Yeah, that sounds like a great event. And of course, if folks miss it this time, check out the NC State page. I know they got a lot of barbecue camps that go on throughout the course of the year and year after year. Just keep your eyes peeled on Showtime's legit. They're on Instagram and they're on Facebook too. You find Kevin Peterson and kind of keep track of what's going on with those guys. Maybe you can find them out in the world. Let's talk a little bit about Kevin and how you got into this. How and when did you start smoking meat low and slow? Maybe even before the competition days.
You know, I guess all my life, when my daddy's side of the family, when we had a family reunion, that was a cheap and easy way to feed a lot of folks was cook a pig. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when I was a little boy, you used to follow along behind these men that, you know, I to all my life. And they'd have an old drum and a burn barrel there, and they'd go out and cut a tree and bust wood and burn it down, and, you know, they'd chip in together and buy a pig, and, you know, they're like, hey, we're going to have a family union Saturday. Well, you know, Friday night, you know, they get this pig started, you know, they won't know thermometers in the deal. It was all, you know, hand on the grill, you know, and that's kind of where it started for me. You go through a span there, you know, where you got to find yourself for growing up. Mm-hmm. And when me and my wife got married, you know, I was always cooking this and cooking that. She's like, hey, you need to try this competition. I was like, I don't know nothing about no competition, you know. So that's kind of where it all started for us. And when I started it, I had a good cheerleader at home. And that's where it starts at. You got to have a good cheerleader at home. And she stood behind me. She stayed on the road with me. Now, I give a lot up in life. I've said this a lot. I give up a lot of family time for these competitions over the past 9 years. Mm-hmm. But I've had a good time and made a lot of good friends because of barbecue. There's folks I've met from here to Texas, from Florida to Canada, pretty much, that if it wasn't because of per se barbecue, I wouldn't know them. And find them as really good friends because of barbecue. So when you watch these videos that talks about what barbecue does to communities, it's the truth. It touches a lot of mouths, a lot of lives. It's profitable in communities, and that's what we love about it.
Yeah, that's a great sentiment there and a great perspective to have on that. When you're looking for advice out in the world, and again, you're a state champion, you got all kinds of competition victories, but sometimes people look for advice. Is there anybody that you turn to or talk to for advice on maybe how to do things different or better?
In the whole hog, I got one friend. I'll say his name. His name's Chris Finner. He's actually from South Carolina. Mm. He's a good culinary guy. He learned from a older head that was cooking pigs longer than I've been alive. Mm-hmm. And I got to be really good friends with this guy. And, you know, and we'll bounce ideas off of one another. And me or him's probably have tried it or not tried it, and we'll say, well, no, it works, or yes, it does. You need to be doing this. So if I had to turn to anybody nowadays, it would probably him. If I had to do anything, I just get on the grill and try it myself and say this works or it don't or it does. And so, I mean, you know, there's I always call it fun barbecue, and I actually have took a steak class. Uh-huh. And I'd like to take maybe a brisket class or something from somebody, just to be better. But we tell everybody, I don't care if you win a competition first place, 30 points. On the way home, I feel like you could have done something better. Mm-hmm. I don't care what you've done. You could have done something better. What could you have? And we always analyze our cooks on the way home. You could have been better.
Yeah, continuous improvement. That's a good approach to have in any walk of life. Let me ask you, you're in Benson, North Carolina. You're a down east guy. Where are your favorite barbecue places? Where do you go when you're not cooking it?
Probably if I had to get in a pickup and go anywhere to eat barbecue this afternoon, it would probably be Sam Jones. there's a handful I'll stop by. People may shoot me for this. But Parker's Barbecue. I'll go to Smithfield's, Stevenson's, and if I'm in the western part of the country, I like to go to Hershey's Barbecue. They got great food and they're really good people too. Sam Jones, right here. If I had to get in the truck today and go anywhere, Sam Jones probably be my pick there. Great folks, Michael. You know, I talk to Sam from time to time, but great food as well.
And there you have it, the final word from Kevin Peterson from Showtime's Legit Barbecue. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us today. To learn more about Kevin and Showtime's Legit Barbecue, find him on Instagram and Facebook. You can also check him out at Chef Rival Flame and Flavor event. That's coming up June 17th. It's a barbecue competition supporting the Right for Revival organization. You can get tickets today at rightforrevival.com. It's actually the third annual installment of that event. It's in Rocky Mountain Mills, and some of our other friends are going to be there. Matthew Register from Southern Smoke Barbecue and Catering is part of the VIP experience. And of course, Kevin will be competing against Nick Damp from Damp Good Barbecue, Chef Matt Griner from Southern Q Barbecue, and of course, Kevin Peterson for Showtime's Legit Barbecue. That's all part of the Chef Rival Flame and Flavor event, June 17th. You've been listening to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating on your favorite podcast stream. Share our podcast with your food-loving friends, and be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Don't forget, when you visit lowslowbbqshow.com, you can sign up for our newsletter and get the latest barbecue news delivered right to your inbox on Tuesday mornings. And thanks again to our guest today, Kevin Peterson. Thanks as well to the whole team at the Mesh.tv network of podcasts, especially our producer, Andrew Moose. Finally, thank you for listening to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show. Remember, for the best barbecue and the best barbecue podcast, make it low and slow.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.